Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Breathe Motivation. This is episode 160. Man, time flies. It's so crazy. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If it's your first time listening, welcome. If it's your many times listening, I greatly appreciate you, and I appreciate first-time listeners too. So thank you guys so much. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss an episode every week. I greatly appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. My name's Anthony Hester. I'm the host for this show. So let's get started, right? We always start off with the definition. So let's start off with the definition today, and that is defeat. So it's to win a victory over someone in a battle or other contest, overcome or beat. So as you know, I love life. Life is such a great gift that we are presented and have the opportunity to live each day. And that's a great thing because that gives us an opportunity to be the best us as we choose to be, right? And a lot of the times I was thinking this week, and I've had a hard week. And I like to be upfront and honest with you guys. It's very tough. I'm very, hard on myself. I'm very, driven in my mindset that I want to be successful. And sometimes it's very, difficult to find what that success looks like to you. And I think it's a little, off balance. You can be off balance. You can start to wonder about all these great things that are happening or aren't happening, or, why is this happening to me? And I thought it was very interesting in this week that, I felt really defeated. I really felt defeated. Like I was like, where am I going? I feel like I am, my wheels are stuck in the mud, as they say, right? So my wheels are just stuck. I'm just turning and turning and turning and hoping to get my car out of this mud. And I can't. And I haven't been. And a lot of the times it comes back down to overthinking and, really creating a defeated mindset. As I go through my life and I go through my career and, I look at what I'm doing and, am I passionate about what I'm doing? And yeah, of course, you've got to be a little bit passionate about what you're doing, but there's a lot of things that can hold you back. And I think we talk about this very often. It's fear. And I look at my life and where I stand right now. I'm 30 years old, and one of my biggest fears is not being successful or living a fulfilled life. And I think many people, as I talk to as many people as I know, a lot of us struggle with that. And that's why I created Breathe Motivation, was to help find purpose and passion in our day-to-day life, right? So, just to be a person that is able to, get up in front of you guys, hundreds of people or thousands of people, reaching worldwide, which is pretty cool. To be able to come on this show and be vulnerable and, be open to you guys and, to show that, hey, everyday people go through the same things that we go through. I think that's a great thing for us to have. But I can't tell you how many times, like this week, that I was just so in my head and I was like, you know what, man, things just aren't working out like the way that you wanted them to. What are you going to do? Should you keep doing this, and should you keep going through this battle within yourself and the struggle? And I had to say, what, at the end of the day, yeah, of course I do, right? The battle and the struggle is what creates beauty. And I think that sometimes we take it as the opposite, right? These struggles and these walls that are built around us, or, these walls that we put up, they create the struggle for us, and we fail to see them as learning lessons as they should be. Life is a beautiful thing. And, yes, we can go through struggles. We can be overly hard on ourselves, but we've got to be able to be, aware of those things and know that we are learning lessons. When I start to overthink, my processes, I want to start a business, or, I want to do this, and, let me research all these things and let me sit back and, really do as much research so I don't fail. And, let me do as much research so, there's no way that I can fail. What's funny is a lot of the times we can fail no matter how much research we do. And a lot of people, I thought it was interesting, and I never thought of it this way. But, as I was sitting there thinking just in silence, I was like, I just I gotta concentrate. I gotta figure out what I want to do. I gotta figure out what I want to do. I gotta write my goals down. I gotta visualize what I want, right? All these things are going through my mind, but I'm trying to sit in silence, but my mind keeps going, right? So as I was sitting there, one of the biggest things that I always, I've had I wouldn't say, I don't like to look at it as a hard life, right? I've had some hard times with family. I've had some hard times, with just the overall process of everything, with the family. And, sometimes I feel like, kind of defeated. I was like, there's a lot of things that, you can kind of hold on to. And I know every family kind of struggles, but as I go through life, I was like, you know what? why doesn't my family support me in the ways that I want them to? Or, hey, how come my wife doesn't support me as much, in this business or wanting to grow a business or start a business? What is it? And I had to really think about it and say, what is it? Because I was getting so defeated, and really I was defeating myself. And it was interesting to think, when it just kind of popped in my head, and I was like, man, you know what? My family always tells me to kind of settle down, because at the end of the day, your family doesn't want to see you hurt, right? Your family doesn't want to see you hurt. So they're a little afraid that, like, they don't want to see you, have to hit those bumps. Your family is there to protect you as much as they can. And your friends are there to protect you as much as you can. But you're the only person that really knows your limits and how much you can take on your shoulders or take on in life, right? A lot of us are so fearful of failing. And that's one of my biggest struggles that I struggle with daily, is my fear of failure. But at the end of the day, guess what? I'm going to fail if I don't try. If I don't do things in my life, guess what? We are going to fail because we're not taking a step in the direction that we want to. And I think it's funny that we hold all of these, I can name you a million different things that I say to myself, well, I don't have enough money to start my business, right? Or I don't have enough time. I'm working a full-time job. I got to spend time with my family. I got to spend time with my wife. I got to spend time with everybody, my friends. If I don't spend time with them, they're going to leave me, right? A fear of abandonment, right? All these people are going to leave me because, I'm not spending time with them, right? There's so many different types of fears that we can run into that we have to be able to be realistic and say, hey, you know what? At the end of the day, my family might not seem like they're supporting me, but they're trying to look out for what's best for me. Same thing with my friends. But at the end of the day, you're the person that has to answer, can I do this or can I not? And a lot of the times you're going to tell yourself you can do it, right? You got to get up, you got to move, you got to make and take action towards your passion and your purpose. If you don't do that, guess what? You're going to be stuck in the mud. You are the vehicle of your success. You are the vehicle of your life. If you do not move, guess what? Things don't happen. And you get stuck and you're complacent. And complacency will drive you crazy, right? I know it does for me. I go crazy when I'm complacent. And a lot of the times, guess what makes me complacent? Fear. Right? Fear of abandonment, fear of objection, fear of rejection, right? Fear of not being successful. But guess what? Hey, you can't be successful unless you take the steps to be successful. I can sit here all day and read 100 million books and get all the knowledge I can, but unless I take action and move with that knowledge that I gain, guess what? Nothing's going to happen. Guess what? I'm going to sit here and be more fearful and not even have the confidence to take that step and take that leap into that business I want to start, or going back to school, or whatever that looks like to you. But you've got to be able to have the faith to take that leap to be successful, because if you don't, you're going to regret it. And I tell you this because life is short. Life is fast. It goes like in an instant. There are only two guarantees in life. You're going to live and you're going to die, right? So why not live the best life you can live by doing what you enjoy doing? Because if you don't, guess what? You're going to regret it. I heard this video the other day. It was Jeff Bezos. And he talked about how he would sit and think 80 years, when he's 80 years old. What would 80 years old look like? What would I look like at 80 years old? What would I look back at and regret? Or would I find that I would be happy that I did at such a young age? So he, advanced to the future to really look at that. And I try to stay away from looking at the future because it's very hard to look at the future because it can become overwhelming, right? You want all these things and you become, almost kind of desperate, right? You want to be successful and and then that starts to stall you. So you've got to be careful of that. But just know that at the end of the day, you've got to find what's going to drive you, what success looks like to you, and take action towards it. Because I know all week I've sat here and I said, you know what? There's so many things that are up against me right now. There are things that are going to go against me. There's a chance for failure. Yeah, but also there's a great chance for success. And I had to remind myself that. And I think you guys need to remind yourself that sometimes is, yeah, there is an opportunity for failure, but guess what? There's a great opportunity for success. And we all have to decide that. So I'm going to leave you with this quote. You can't connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect them looking backwards. So you have to trust that the dots will somehow connect in your future. And that's Steve Jobs. So go out there, be the best you can be. Stop getting stuck in the mud. It's not a good place to be. So like my page on Facebook, Breathe Motivation. Check out my page, or actually like and follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Breathe Motivate. Check out the website, breathemotivation.com or breathepodcast.com. And you can reach out to me at Anthony Hester at breathemotivation.com. So greatly appreciate you guys so much. Thank you for tuning in. I look forward to seeing you next week. Hit subscribe now so you don't miss it. And as always, remember to breathe motivation and exhale success. And I'll see you next week. Thanks.